Dragon Ball Z, History of Gohan, Chapter 4. The Truth is Out. Goku's space pod landed in the ground, creating a gigantic crater in the earth it smashed into. The entire crowd gathered nearby to see Goku emerge. Their friend and savior, who they had not seen in quite some time, was finally back. Goku flew closer to his friends, everyone having an amazing time getting to see him once again, wanting to hear all the stories he had to share, and to be with him once more, just like old times. Goku looked at everyone. Something about Goku didn't seem normal. He seemed particularly on edge. "I feel something bad around here," he announced, as opposed to continuing with the cheery welcomes. He stared down the fighter. "It's not you. No, there's no way you're the bad energy. I'll have a word with you in a minute," Goku said to the fighter. "Goku, the bad energy is... it's King Cold, Frieza's father. He and Frieza came to Earth several hours ago. I was able to defeat Frieza and could have dealt with Cold, but I spared his life. It wouldn't hurt to have him alive, but I'll explain that to you later," the fighter explained, somewhat ashamed and preparing himself for whatever ridicule Goku may throw at him for his decision. The fighter had some grim news to tell Goku very soon. He had to inform him that all he knows and loves, all that he just got done fighting for on Namek, was going to be destroyed by the androids in a matter of years if he didn't act fast. That's a questionable move, but I trust that you had a good reason. Where is he anyway? King Cold, overhearing the conversation, descended from the skies he had been hovering over, trying to remain a little unseen. He knew that Gohan and the others could sense his energy and would be able to tell if he had tried to do anything mischievous, and therefore did not do so. "I told him to stay under your radar until I explained the situation to him. I didn't want you to attack him immediately. I knew you'd pick up on him, but I guess I thought you'd wait long enough for me to explain before getting too concerned," Gohan explained. "But I should have known that you weren't going to risk us getting hurt." Knowing he should probably explain himself, King Cole began to speak. "I know you'll never see eye to eye with me. However, I am grateful for my life being spared. And I'm willing to help out this cause that this young man has promised is worthy of my time. I don't see a point in living if there's not going to be a galaxy left to conquer afterward, after all." "I don't think you'll try anything. You're not stupid. You know I could take you out with my hands and feet tied behind my back," Goku said. He looked at the fighter. "Now you follow me over here. Tell me more about this cause." Goku and the fighter flew off into the distance, still seen by the Z fighters. However, they had the privacy that the fighter was hoping for. "This is really weird having to explain this to you, and you're not gonna believe me at first, but you're my son, and I trust you. I'll believe anything you have to tell me," Goku said, putting his hand on the fighter's shoulder. The fighter stood speechless. His identity as Gohan from the future was not as much of a secret as he was hoping for it to be. Future Gohan, the now unmasked fighter, began. "Father? How did you know?" He began to look up, thinking about the entire situation and how anticlimactic the revealing of his story had become. "I don't look very much like how I did the last time you saw my present counterpart on Namek. I'm bigger, stronger. I'm a new person. You're my son, and I can tell that without a doubt by looking you in the eyes. I may not have been the best father in the world, always running off to save the world and leaving you with your mother sometimes, but I could tell it was you the moment I stepped out of my space pod," Goku told future Gohan. "But there is one thing I'm not too square on right now. Why or how are there two Gohans? I know I'm not known for my intelligence or anything, but this isn't making a great deal of sense to me." "This is the part that's gonna be harder to explain. I am Gohan. I am your son. It's that simple. What isn't as simple is the fact that I am Gohan, 20 years in the future." "What? How is that possible? You're from the future?" "Yeah, I come from a time of great distress, Father. As a child, only 3 years older than the Gohan you know," future Gohan pointed to Gohan, who was standing with the others, talking to Piccolo. "I witnessed your horrible death." "I died? How?" "What killed you wasn't a mighty monster, or even a natural disaster. You were killed by a heart virus, one that has an almost non-existent survival rate. Even someone as healthy as you couldn't take it." A tear rolled down future Gohan's face. I had just gotten home during your last moments. I had to take care of Mother. I was so scared being in charge of saving the world. That's awful. But you weren't the only one left to defend the Earth. Vegeta and the others didn't get the virus too, did they? No, they didn't get the virus. They were killed much more horrifically. In 3 years, 2 evil, destructive androids from the Red Ribbon Army will arrive, and they will destroy everything in their path. I promise you. They killed everyone. Krillin, Yamcha, Chaozu, Piccolo, Tien, and even Vegeta. How come they didn't kill you? I was able to escape the battle they died in just barely. I lived with Bulma and her son for quite some time. Bulma has a kid? That's great! But I guess he had to grow up without his daddy, what, with Yamcha dying, right? Actually, Yamcha wasn't the father. Huh? Does Krillin make a move on her? No, not him. Goku jumped back and his voice became high. Wait! I'm not the father, am I? Gohan had missed his father's sense of humor. No, Dad, you're not. Don't worry. The child is half Saiyan. His father is Vegeta. No way! Vegeta and Bulma? But you cannot tell them no matter what. They'll hook up sooner or later on their own, and then their child, whom they will name Trunks, will be born. If you tell them about it now, they may intentionally do something to avoid that happening. And I have the feeling that an extra Saiyan being around might help out later on, in a future that even I haven't seen. Wait, if there was another half Saiyan child, why didn't you take him with you here to help out? He could probably be at least of some use. I'm sure Vegeta made him start training as soon as he could sit up straight. He was a good fighter. I trained him until a certain point when Bulma and I started working on the time machine behind his back. It was right as we began to realize that Trunks and I wouldn't be enough to defeat the androids on our own. We were both going to travel back here originally. I told him to quit his training since we needed him alive and that he simply wasn't going to be enough to take them on. He instead snuck out one night to prove me wrong, and ended up dying by the cruel metal hands of the androids. I'll never forgive myself. Don't beat yourself up about it. So, you're coming here to stop the androids and change the future? In a sense, yes. However, I live in an entirely different universe to this one. We're in separate timelines, if that makes any sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense! But continue, Gohan. You haven't changed a bit. Anyway, if we defeat the androids in this universe will be saved. However, when I return back to my future universe, they'll still be there. I'm here to save you all, in hopes that you can have a better future than I can. This is a lot to wrap my head around. So, I'm gonna die soon from a little cold? No, that's one of the biggest reasons that I'm here for. Future Gohan reached into his pocket. To give you this medicine. Some years after your death, a cure was luckily invented. Here you go. Just take that whenever you start to notice yourself getting sick. Thanks, son. So, when are you gonna tell the others? Well, it wouldn't hurt to start training and preparing soon. A big reason of why the people of my time weren't able to make it is because the attacks were all of a sudden. You have 3 years to get ready for a hell that you won't be able to escape easily. 3 years is plenty of time to train and beat up some silly robots. We got this! Goku cheerily said, as he began doing some short stretch exercises. I don't doubt that it'll be easier with you still around, Dad, but they're no joke. But it's time that I head back to my time for a bit to let Bulma know that I made it all right. I'll be back here in roughly 3 years, ready to fight the androids head-on with all of you. Thank you, son. I'll see you soon. As future Gohan approached his time machine, he was confronted by Bulma. Hey, are you leaving? She asked, somewhat frantic. Yeah, I was about to head out. Why do you ask? As soon as you got here earlier, I couldn't help but notice the Capsule Corporation logo on your G. Your father is the CEO. I know. Yeah, I guess I forgot that you already know just about everything. But what's up with that? Why are you boasting a logo from us? Well, since Goku's gonna tell you everything soon, I guess I could explain. Future Gohan began until he stopped himself. What am I doing? I can't tell her everything until Trunks is born. I can't take any chances on messing up the future over here. He thought and continued. Actually, I can't. I really need to be heading back before long. He now felt a little embarrassed and rushed to get back into his timeline. You still haven't explained yourself! You're a Super Saiyan that knows everything about everyone! You're so weird! He couldn't help but see much of future Bulma from his timeline within her present counterpart. As insane as she could act sometimes, she did seem like a good person and a wonderful mother. She was concerned, caring, and loved to talk. Goku will explain everything to you sometime tonight, I'm sure. He's got a lot of news to give you all. I'm terribly sorry that I can't explain everything to you. I know this has got to be weird for you, but I promise everything is going to get better. Please be safe, Bulma. I'll be back. Future Gohan opened the hatch to his time machine. He glanced to his right, only to see present Gohan staring at him. His eyes were wide and his mouth was slightly opened. Where are you going, mister? He boyishly asked future Gohan. I have to go back home for a little while, but you be sure to train extra hard and do everything your father tells you to do while I'm gone. Understood? Yes, sir, but if you don't mind me asking, who are you and how did you get to be so powerful? I used to be just like you, Gohan. Future Gohan couldn't help but realize the literal irony in what he just said. But then everything in my life changed. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through in order to become stronger. You don't have to. You're a tough kid and you really showed what you've got today. Future Gohan looked deep into his innocent present counterpart's eyes. I thought I knew everything about you before today, but I didn't know you were capable of that kind of stuff at this age. I'm proud of you. Present Gohan smiled a little and gave a salute to future Gohan. He quickly turned around and scampered off to go speak with his father, whom he still had not gotten a great chance to see since his valiant return. Future Gohan finished climbing into his time machine and began his first trip back to his timeline, knowing he had done all he could at this point.